Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tashana. If you are new here, welcome, and if you are not, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for coming. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about culture shock. What is culture shock, the 5 stages of culture shock, and how it is that you can snap out of it quicker than usual, because it's not a case where you are not going to experience it. It's something everyone, once you move into a different culture, a different space, a different religion, you are going to experience. But I'm going to give you some tips and some tricks on how to snap out of it a little earlier than usual. Before I get into the video, please follow my business page at All Things Travel by Tashana. I am now a travel agent and I'm able to book your trip for you wherever in the world you want to go at extremely low prices. Also follow my Instagram, which is my most active social media page, at Tashana, Tushana 2 underscore.
You know it. Top everything, you know it. King already, you know it. My body soul got a king body. Body gon' shine, bling, bling body. Calling all the shots, ring, ring body.
If you've ever traveled or lived in a foreign country, you would have experienced some type of culture shock, whether it is mild or severe. Whatever it is, you would have experienced some type of culture shock. Culture shock is just like jet lag. Once you travel, you're going to experience some type of jet lag, especially if you're going out of like different time zones. So it's pretty much a very common thing. What is culture shock? So it's the state of being anxious, depressed, just being overall disoriented in your environment because this is a new norm and you're not used to it. So first of all, there are 5 stages of culture shock, and the first stage it's called the honeymoon stage. So almost everybody, that's the first stage that they experience. You go to a new country, you're experiencing anything new, and you're like over the moon excited. You're so happy to be there. You're so happy to be experiencing new people, new place, new foods, all of that. Especially if you're adventurous, you're super excited and you're just happy. And yeah, so it's the honeymoon stage. This stage lasts for a couple weeks, maybe a couple days if you're there for a certain amount of time, or sometimes even a couple of months. It all depends on where you're coming from, how happy you were to even leave in the first place, all of that. So you're going to experience the honeymoon stage. The second stage is distress and anxiety stage. So like the name suggests, you know what it is. So this is when the honeymoon stage wears off and you're just like, why did I come here? What is this? These people are so weird. I'm not used to this. The food is horrible. I want to go home. You get homesick, all of that. So what can you do during this stage? I would say most you can do is try and relax. If it is that you're there for only a couple of months, you can look at it in a sense where this is a new experience and I should probably try to enjoy as much of it as possible. I'm going to be home soon, stuff like that. It's all mental, so you can tell yourself stuff to comfort yourself. You can try and be more open-minded when it comes on to the food and to the people and all of that. You can try to tell yourself like, well, everybody was raised differently. People will be acting differently and it's just not home. You can try and accept that this is not home and the people are just going to be different. Food is going to be different. The culture, the norms, everything is going to be different. While you know that it's just a state of mind that you go through, it's literally a thing. Culture shock is literally a thing, and even though we all know this, you just have to try and remind yourself that whenever you're going through that stage, you just have to try and remind yourself, even though we know this, and it's such a strange thing for me to be telling you, like, to understand that people are different, even though you know this, when you're going through culture shock, you kind of forget, like, gosh, I'm just here for a certain amount of time. If it is that you are going to be living in this place, you can try and see if you can tell yourself, well, I'm going to be traveling back to my home country every certain amount of years or a certain amount of months. It's not that serious. This is the opportunity that I've gotten. This is where God has placed me. I was meant to be the one place all my life, stuff like that. Just some things that you can use to comfort yourself. Stage 3 is when the anxiety and distress stage ends, and this might take years. This might take months. This all depends, like I said, on your personality, how quickly you decide to get out of that mindset and try to boss up and just deal with it. It's life and life happens, and deal with it. And you can try to like go out and experience culture, like force yourself to like even so more so immerse yourself into the culture, the food, the people, make friends, stuff like that. Don't isolate yourself. That's one of the worst things that you can do. Isolation just makes it worse and makes you miss your home more and be more homesick. Don't try to like keep contact with the people that are back in your home country and be like, oh, I miss you so much and I want to be back there and whatever. That's just going to make it worse. You have to make friends where you're at and try to immerse yourself more so into the culture. The third stage is adjustment stage, and this is where you now start to adjust and you are now realizing, well, this is what it is and you are here, and what is it that you're going to do about it? You can't do anything about it. So you start to adjust, you start knowing your way around, you start getting into a routine. You have a routine, you've had friends, and you just start living life and pretty much accepting that this is where you're at. The fourth stage, adaptation stage, and this is where now you have become a part of the society that you are now a part of. You have become some of the things that you even had that were in your culture, you even forget some of them, and you start to talk like the people that you're around. You start to act like the people that you're around. Subconsciously, you start doing this because this is where you've lived for a certain amount of time, and you start to become one with the environment that you're now in. So you learn to adapt. You finally decide to just let go, and your mind, you mentally or subconsciously decide, your body decides to just let it go, and this has become your new home, and you pretty much have accepted the culture. You've learned to communicate better with the people. You've learned how their way of doing things is, and you kind of adapt while you still have your own sense of identity and the way you do things. You pretty much learn how to adapt and immerse yourself into the culture and become a part of the culture and a part of the new norm that you are now in. The fifth stage is the reentry stage, and this is when you go back to your country or your culture and everything seems weird and everything seems so different, and you start to compare everything about the place that you were originally from with your new home. You start to compare and say how different things are. Some things you don't like, some things you like. You have a hard time like even getting back into that norm, and you find it difficult to let go of what you've now been accustomed to, and it's just like a weird dynamics for you. You kind of feel like you don't belong. The people start treating you differently, the people start looking at you differently, you're seeing the people differently. Everything sometimes seems even smaller, and just you start to see the people and wonder like, do they understand that there's so much more outside of the way they do things, stuff like that. That's the 5 stages of culture shock. And what you can do is literally just tell yourself, well, if you understand the stages, you can do some introspection and realize, well, I'm only doing this because of this thing, and you can try and just understand that people are different everywhere, cultures are different everywhere, and just accept and try to immerse yourself in whichever culture or wherever you are at the moment. Just try to enjoy life and live in the present moment every day. Do not compare. Comparison is the thief of all joy, and just try to embrace whatever, wherever, whoever you are with at the moment. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you learned something new, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye.